Got it. Okay. Share screen.
I didn't know you were doing Zoom today.
Well, and I didn't know we were doing it either.
Yeah, I heard you were gonna like stop doing Zoom.
Mhm. Yeah, I was not aware.
Can't remember.
Do you have the workbooks for them?
Well, I'll have to get with Pamela. I'm not sure. Give me just a minute.
Okay.
Let me do slideshow from beginning. Okay. Okay, Miss Kimberly. So you'll just,
You know, that the only challenge is nobody's gonna have the paperwork.
well, and I mean, I'm just connecting us because I saw it posted. That there was a Zoom link. I mean, we're recording, so worst case scenario, we just load it. We'll edit out the first 2 minutes of me standing here saying these words. Just for YouTube later, maybe we'll kind of start with that. Does she, what do you want this copy?
No, I need the student manual.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Give me a minute.
Hello, thank you for coming in the rainy, nasty weather today. I appreciate that.
The weather's pretty rough out there.
Yeah, Megan had to go home. She, her yard is flooded all the way up to her house.
Oh. Wow. I had no idea.
I guess over that area of Blacklick and Kennedy Road in there.
Okay. Yeah, we're really coming down around Lancaster as well. So, yeah. absolutely.
And here I'll give you a couple of note sheets. Now, hopefully we'll pass that around, everybody comes in. Great. Great, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, let's see. I'm fairly new.
Mm.
I got my license back in April. I was an accounts manager for a company called ABI, which is a large vending corporation. And I used to handle the Ohio University in Athens. I used to
Okay.
handle all of their vending that came in and out of there. And I managed their financial situation. When COVID hit, they laid off 12,000 people at my company. I was working 60-hour work weeks. And so I decided to go ahead and get my real estate license. All through high school and my first 2 years of college, I worked for a construction company. So I can build a house myself from the ground up.
Nice.
And that coupled with my financial management skills that I had for I thought real estate's just a good fit. I'm a people person anyway. I've worked the construction side, I've worked the financial side. It just seemed like a good way to go. So I studied, took my classes, got my license back in April. Right.
Congratulations. So how's your business going? How are things working out for you?
Slow, but steady.
Yeah.
So I've had lots of sit downs with people. They assigned me a mentor, which is Mary.
Mary Blackstone?
Yep. Yeah, I love Mary. She's awesome. So I've gone with her to an open house or two. Been working my database really hard and staying up with it every day. And then I have several friends that work for Keller Williams or real estate firms in general, brokerages. And so I've been getting some help tips from them and just taking in everything I can, watching every class. I've been on a number of Zoom calls and just, going at it.
Awesome. That sounds good. Exciting. Yeah, Mary's a great gal. Mary's a great gal. I like Mary a lot.
And she's always busy. I admire her for that.
Yeah.
She's always got something cooking.
Stacy, can you hear me? Let's see. want to give probably a few more minutes just to, I know we're expecting 3 or 4 more people and they
Okay.
have all said this is that they're coming, so.
All right.
Give them a chance before we get started and then we'll get going and take off.
All right. Fantastic.
Stacy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, it's, the weather's really nasty outside, so we're expecting 3 more people, so we're going to wait a few more minutes. So while in the meantime, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I was just in the class last week and I'm pretty much a new agent. I got my license, let's see, November 2019, right before COVID. So I had a few transactions in 2020 and now I've jumped in 2021 full time with my real estate. I quit my full-time job to do this full time. I did intend on being in class today, but I have a doctor's appointment. They rescheduled me for this afternoon. So otherwise I would be sitting there right now. So I will attend in class next 2 days.
All right, sounds good. So I remember who you are. So I think did we ever schedule a time to get together or we just have it still open out there?
I think we did. Now we scheduled, I believe, for Thursday at 9 o'clock, but I will be up there for class from 1 to 4.
Thursday, so Thursday is the, yeah, that's right. I remember now we scheduled. So you and I, and then at 10:30 is the Canva class. And then at noon is the office meeting. And then at 1 o'clock is the training class.
Okay, got it. I'll just be there all day on Thursday. That's fine.
All right, well then I will see you. I thought for sure we had that. I'm gonna check my calendar. Come on in, Kelsey.
Yes, we do at 9 o'clock on the 19th.
All right. And we're meeting at the office, right?
Yes.
Great, 9 o'clock. I had eye surgery on Thursday and everything that I talked to people went straight out the window with all the meds I was taking. So, all right, so we're going to get started. We're waiting on a couple other people and but I want to be respectful of those that have arrived. I appreciate it. So
Well, thank you.
We'll get started here. Waiting on Andrea to get the workbooks for you guys. But in the meantime, let me get Kelsey to sign in.
Now, will she put those in our mailboxes for us that are not there
Yes,
today?
I'll make sure that everybody that attends gets one. So I'll make sure that yours is in your mailbox, because here's what's going to happen. So this program is designed really like a 2-day program. This book that I'm going to go through, touch just the skim of the top of it, is a truly 2-day program. But I'm going to go over with you now so that I can give you an idea of why it's important, because on October the 6th, from 9 to 4, everyone, is business planning clinic all day, 9 to 4 for 2022. So I would recommend that you guys go ahead and mark it on your calendar.
You said October 6th.
It is October the 6th,
Okay.
9 to 4. It is the full-fledged business planning clinic workshop And what we're actually going to do is we're actually going to put your business plan for 2022 together. Okay, so
Okay.
the cool thing about this is that we can, oh, you came. I'm surprised.
I'm not that scared yet.
I know. I mean, just with the rain and everything, I was surprised.
Well, that was the reason I was late for small flooding.
There is.
People were having that issue.
Megan had to go home because of the flooding was so bad.
There's a lot in Gehenna.
It's all the way up to her patio, up to her door in the backyard. Okay, so the business planning clinic in October is the full-fledged business planning clinic workshop where we will take the day, we will go through the book. Hopefully you guys will take the book home once we get the copies printed, and you guys will study it. So when you come back, and I'm going to tell you, you need to mark that calendar date to be here because that's an extremely important class. Because like I said, we're going to do your workshop, your whole workshop for your plan for 2022. So that means we're going to know how many appointments you have to go on. We're going to know how many listings you need to take. We know how much money you want to make. And we're going to put this all into a plan. So for when the new year starts, you guys are ramped up and ready to go. And that's in October. We always try to do that in October so that we can start that prepping for the new year. And you can actually start working into that new year in October because October, November are January closings, or maybe the end of December, but you're definitely November, December, your January, February closings. So you definitely want to start working that early. So just let me encourage you on that. Mark that on your calendar. And so, all right, we're going to get started. And I think that Andrea went to get another book for you. So let me just introduce myself real quick. I am Kimberly Sherrod. I have been in the real estate business for 31 years. I have been with Keller Williams 10 years now. And I sell here in Ohio, and I also sell in Florida. So if you have anybody you know that's moving to Florida, I'll be happy to help them for you. Be glad to pay you a 25% referral. I am on the ALC, which is the Agent Leadership Council. I am top in the production in the company last year. I'm one of the educators in the office myself, Jill Campbell, Karen Dallas. I'm also one of the mentees myself, Jill Campbell, Karen, Mary Blackstone, and Andrea Stover. So that's a little bit about me. So we're going to talk about why business planning is important. Business planning is important because you have to have an idea where you're going to. It's like a roadmap. If you don't have any idea where you're headed to, you don't know how you're going to get there. We always talk about the straight line. The quickest way to get to somewhere is the straight line, instead of going this way and back down and this way and over here and out there, and you end up over here when you want to be over here. So Gary Keller, now look, I want to tell you something. This is the neatest thing about this. This plan and workshop is proven by agents year after year after year after year. So this isn't something that I just developed. It isn't something that, just started. This has been proven by top real estate agents throughout the country. So we're going to talk about models, why they're important. And we're going to talk about your mindset, that mindset of being on that straight line, having that goal, whatever that goal may be, a new house, money, paying for your college, for your kids, that's me, college. So having these kind of, mindsets and moving along that straight line. We're going to talk about the economic model. We're going to talk about the lead generation model. And I'll talk a little bit about that today. The budget model, the organization model, and pulling it all together.
So I'm probably only gonna hit on a few of these, and the others I'll go through really quickly. And like I said, take the book home, read it over so that you are ready on the October class. Will you do me a favor, Craig? Will you give to each of everybody?
Yes.
That's one of the worksheets we're going to use later, and I want to make sure that you guys have that. So, all right, so let's jump into here. Now, I just want to say, this is a working workshop. I need to hear from people, and if you have questions, Stacy, you're on mute if you need to ask me something. Let's start on page 1.1.
Can I have one of those, or is she making extra?
Would you run and ask her to make, come on in. Hi.
I'm Suresh Waghray. I'm a new resident.
Oh, well, come on in and have a seat. So we'll need 2 more, Karen.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to start on 1.1. We're going to get the extra workbooks. But you can follow with me for right now. So, we were just talking a little bit about the models and why models are important. Because if you have the basis of a model here, let's see if this works. Yeah, it does. I had eye surgery on Thursday, so it's really hard for me to see some of this with the artificial light. So bear with me if I start squinting and looking weird. So models are your base. They are the base of your business. This is what gives you your foundation. It's the rock that you're building your business on. And like I said, models are important because we need to know how we're getting there. And I'm just catch you up real quick. So we were talking about models, and from getting from A to Z is always the straight line is the quickest way to get there. And that model that Keller Williams has created is the base of that. Instead of going all different directions and trying to figure out where you're going, that model gives you the opportunity to have the straight line. It gives you the basis. It gives you your strength. And then it allows you to have creativity. So, but if it's an unstable business plan, a business model, if your business model is unstable, this is what it's going to look like. And I will tell you, this is what your income is going to look like. One day you're going to have lots of money in the bank, and the next day it's going to look like this, negative. Because business is, real estate is really ups and downs. So what you want to do is you want to level that out, and to be able to level out your business is to have a strong business foundation. So, we just talked a little bit about, stability. Okay, so we are on page 8. Now let everybody catch up here. No, I'm sorry, it is 2.5. Yeah, except I want you to go back to 2.3 here real quick. I just want to talk real quick about this. So, our mindset is, a lot of people are like, I don't need models. Don't need to do this. I've got my own plan. I know how I'm getting there. This is what I want to do. I don't need to follow somebody else's plan. If you start using the models now, you're going to get things done. You're going to have results. You're not going to start 10 years. You're not going to be 10 years down the road and think, oh my gosh, I need to go back. I should have done this from the beginning, but I didn't. And now I need to move forward. Models, people are like, oh, they limit my ability, my freedom, and all of them. Models actually give you the freedom to actually do what you're supposed to do, and that's sell real estate. The whole idea is selling real estate. And if you want to sell real estate and be good at it, set up a model, set up a system so that every time you do something, you do it the same. It's like, muscle memory. So you do the same thing over and over and over, and you always know that you're going to get it done. So here's an example of not doing that. So like I said, I had eye surgery on Thursday, and for some reason my week got away from me. And I had a referral given to me for Florida, and the gentleman's looking at a $350,000 house. I forgot to even text him back. And I had a reaction to the medication last night in my eyes. I was up at 1:30, so I texted him and apologized and, you know, et cetera, and we're back on track. But I'm thinking, how did I forget that? Well, I forgot it because I didn't follow my steps. Normally, if I get a lead, I come in, I put it in my calendar right away. I put it in my phone right away. It goes right into command. I set it up and I have that. I didn't do that. So I didn't follow my model and almost lost a $350,000 buyer because I didn't follow my model. And it happens. And so I was talking to Stacy, she's on here with us, and you know, I knew I had an appointment with her, but I didn't write it down. I don't know what was wrong with me last week. I must have been in la la land for some reason. But so if you have models, you have systems, and you do it every time, you're really good with that. That'll work through. All right, so let's follow over to 2.5. All right, think like a millionaire real estate agent. So these models are based on the fact that you will eventually become a millionaire real estate agent. And by that, what I mean is that you'll make $1 million, that you're going to net $1 million and take it home with you. So, you know, we're at the beginning point and we're not going to make $1 million tomorrow. I am not a millionaire real estate agent, nor will I be there. I am retiring in 9 years and we'll do it part-time. But I will not be a millionaire agent. But that doesn't mean that I don't make good money and I have a very comfortable life. So what we're going to do in these numbers as we go through these may be a little overwhelming. I'm going to give you the systems and you can plug in whatever number you want. So if you want to make 150,000 in 2022, we're going to show you how to do that. That's why that business planning clinic workshop in October is really important, because you'll come back and we're going to put your numbers together, and you're going to know when you leave that day what you're going to have to do, how many phone calls you need to make, how many open houses, et cetera, whatever you need to do to get that amount of business, we're going to show you. This is just a like a little taste of it right now, so that you can get just a little, you know, idea of it, so we can ramp up for October. All right, so now Glenn and Stacy, you guys do not have workbooks, but I will make sure that they get into your mailboxes. Glenn and Stacy. All right, I'm just making a note. All right. So think of it this way. Think that the foundational part of the millionaire real estate agent, think powered by the big why. And we're going to talk about that. And we actually have a class, because we're getting ready to prepare for next year on September the 29th here in the office. And it will not be, these will not be Zoom meetings. They'll be in person. And if we have to limit the numbers for whatever, social distancing, et cetera, masking or whatever, we will. But it's really hands-on workshops. So we'll do it hands-on. Okay, so on September the 29th from 9 to noon, we're doing your big why and your vision board. Okay, now, so what is my big why? We're going to get into that, and we're going to talk about vision boards. This model, they don't teach you this, but in other programs, they'll tell you about it. But it's really important to be able, if you're at home and you're at your desk, to look up and see what your big why is, what your goals are, what you're working for. If you want a Maserati, you've got this big, huge picture of this Maserati. Well, you need to remember that you need to pick up the phone and make phone calls today if you're going to get that Maserati, okay? So if I want to go to Hawaii, it's on my bucket list, and I visualize that over and over. Every time I pick up that phone to call somebody, I'm like, yes, I'm getting closer to going to Hawaii. I'm getting closer to going to Hawaii. So we're gonna do that. So, and Jill will do the vision board part of this, and she's amazing, absolutely amazing. Kara, did you take her vision board class? What did you think?
Twice.
What did you think about it?
I thought it was wonderful and, I'm doing it again. I mean, I get something, wonderful out of it every time and it's made a difference in my life for sure. Not just professionally, but personally.
Yeah, I mean, a vision board could be anything. I use a vision board a little different. Mine are, I have a vision board, but I also have what's called a transaction sheet. And I've given this to, but it's got little houses on it. And it's probably a poster board size. And every time I have a closing, I color those in. So when I look at, I don't have to even look at my numbers. I can look at my houses and I can tell if I'm on track or I'm not. I mean, just immediately, because I know how many houses I have to sell because I put them on there. And if I've got a lot of blank houses, I know I am behind. And that's just me. I love it. I love being able to do it. I actually have one for my business. I have one for my mentees, and I have one for my referrals in Florida. So I have 3 of them. And that's how I visualize things. And I'm sort of a numbers person, so that sort of works for me. But then I do have a vision board that has my dreams on them. And one of mine is to be debt free. And so, well, now it's been, it'll be 2 years in March. So it was a 3 to 5 year plan to be debt free. So I have not used a credit card since March of 2020. When COVID happened, I have not used a credit card. Now I use my husband's credit card for our Southwest travel because I travel back and forth to Florida. But my big why was to be debt free. So I am so proud because I have used credit cards all my life, but I have not used a credit card. I have not touched it, and I'm paying all my debt down, and I'm going to be debt free. So that could be your big why. So that's what we'll be talking about. We're going to think big goals and big models. Goals are important. We talked about it. We're not going to set you up that you want to make $50,000 in 2022. Well, I guess if that's what you want to do, if you're part-time, et cetera, that would be okay as a part-time agent. But if you're going to be a full-time agent, we need to make sure that, you know, how much money do you need to make to support your family? How much money do you need to supplement your family income? How much do you need to be able to pay your debt off? Hey, Andrea, I need Glenn Mowry and Stacy need the workbooks in their mailbox. Okay, thank you. So we're going to talk about that. Think value and customer service and experience. Talk about, you know, how important it is to give good quality customer service. My business right now, after 31 years, 95% of my business is past client referrals. That's where it comes from. I've been doing it long enough and I give good service and my clients love me and I love my clients. Matter of fact, today I got a listing appointment from a friend of mine that's been a client multiple times, and her friend that I met when she was selling her place and buying it, etc. She's now moving. She called me and I'm going out on September 7th to list her house. So, you know, by giving good quality service, that's what happens. We're going to think competitively and strategically, think action and accountability, talent, system and standards, knowledge and skills, time and persistence and resilience, and think profit. We love that. We all want to think profit. Okay, so as we move over to the next page, we are talking about the powered by the big why, think big goals and big model, and think action and accountability. Like I said, we're going to talk about that. We're actually going to have a workshop. We're going to talk about our big why. But you know what? You can now start working on that. I'm giving you this opportunity to start preparing all of this before we have the big day, the big class. And so your big why, your big goals, set your 1 year net income based on what your someday goal is. You know, if you want to be a millionaire real estate agent, we're going to help you get there. I'm not saying that we have 2 in our office now, millionaire real estate agents. And so they're on teams, but you can do this. You can do it. There's nothing that can keep you from this. This is just the starting point of it. This is your base. I'm going to give you the base model so that you can get to wherever you want to be. If you want to make $500,000 a year, we're going to show you how to make $500,000 a year. Okay. And think action and accountability. Now, I will say this, accountability is extremely important. I would suggest male or female, whichever, get into an accountability group. I would recommend 3 people. 3 works well. If you get to 4, it's a little challenging because you want to try to keep your accountability meetings for about an hour. But Jill Campbell and I have an accountability group. We meet every Wednesday at 8:30 and we last an hour, hour and a half, and we hold each other accountable. And we love each other enough to say, you told me you were going to do that last week. You didn't do it. Why not? Okay. So when you have somebody that's going to hold you accountable, you'll get to your goals a lot quicker. Okay. So I'm going to run over this briefly. This is a 411. Have anybody seen these? This is what's called an action goal worksheet. So it's your annual, your monthly, and your weekly goals. And so that's a way to rough draft what your goals are, and it breaks out to get you to where we're looking at for you. Okay, so here's what I want to talk a little bit about. This is really important. Leads, listing, and leverage. If you don't have this down, you're not going to get anywhere, because leads always go to equal listings and then leverage. And here's the thing. Leverage is really important because you want to leverage everything you do in real estate to make business easier, more profitable, more business, etc. You have to leverage it. So you leverage your leads into listings. This is where you want to get the majority of your business from, is listings. Can anybody tell me why? Why would I want to be a heavy lister instead of a buyer's agent? Go ahead, Karen. I know you're gonna help me out here. This is a two-way class.
Well, when you have listings, you have several more opportunities to market your business versus the buy side. You have signage, you have open houses, you've got buyers coming in, you can gain buyers off listings. And another thing is you can plan your time a little bit better than you can with a buyer. I mean, there's a lot of advantages to listings.
How many here's a question for you, and I'd appreciate if you, like I said, this is a interactive class here. So, hello, Mary Blackstone.
Hello. Sorry, I was a little tardy, guys.
That's all right. We're glad you're here. Workbooks will be in your mailbox. Okay. So back to leads, listings, and leverage. And I lost my train of thought there for a second. But so Karen, you're really correct. Okay, so here's the question I was going to ask. How many buyer's agents in the market in the last year and a half do you think have gotten out of the business?
Either that or gone on. Passed on. I mean, it's been terrible. If you were a buyer's agent, just the amount of time and hard work spent, it's been overwhelming.
It has, because so from day one, this is what you want. You want listings. You do not want, I mean, you want buyers too, but you want listings because that's where the money is. It's the bread and butter. This is what's going to make your business go. And I'll tell you what, just like Karen said, you can get buyers from open houses. You can run ads, Facebook ads on command. Brett Royer, one of the agents, he had a family emergency, or he was going to be here this afternoon. He ran an ad on a open house that he was holding open this past weekend. He had like 10 leads. Okay, so you have that. So right there, you have 10 leads. Now, maybe only 2 of those may pan out, but guess what? I think he maybe said he was going to spend $30. And, for 2 leads, and, if you sell 100,000, that's 3,000. 2 people, 6,000 for a $30 investment. So you have control when you have listings. And that's the most important thing, is that you're in control and you have open house, like I said, sign calls, ads and et cetera. So you control the business. So I have a listing, I get it all put in. I have a transaction coordinator that I pay to do all the hard work. And then I don't hold many open houses open anymore, but let's say somebody does and everything. So the house goes in contract, it closes, I make my money. How many hard hours did I put into that versus if I was working with a buyer right now and I'm still competing against multiple offers every time? How many hours would I put into that buyer just to make that? And then my car, I ran gas out, my time is money. And so do I want to do all this or do I want to be in control? So does that make sense to you guys? How about you guys online? Glenn, are you there?
Makes lots of sense to me.
Thanks, Mary.
Welcome.
I love you.
I love
I love
you.
you.
Sorry, I keep trying to mute because we have a big newfie and I just don't want him to bark and scare everyone in class.
And that is a big dog of yours.
He is a big boy.
Okay,
I'm with
so
you too,
we all
Kim.
get
Makes
this
sense.
right here, right? The leads, listing, and leverage, and why we want to take the leads and to turn them into listings, turn it into leverage. We're in control. We have it. We're doing it. We're making it happen. Okay, so these are the models that we were just talking about. And if you guys don't mind flipping through your pages there, and I can just, this way I can just keep working off of the PowerPoint here. So the economic model, it's to achieve the amount of net income you desire. So we'll hit that briefly. The lead generation model is what you'll need to generate X number of leads to be able to make that kind of money that you want. Your budget model is how much am I going to spend and how much am I going to take home, that I don't want to overspend and not make enough money to pay my bills and the tax man. Then we have the organizational model and the expansion model. 4 and 5, we're not even going to get into today. Okay, I'll let you read those on your own. The organization model is when you start hiring people and bringing people on, etc. There's no reason to go in that today. We'll hit on it briefly when we do the full class in October. And the expansion model is something we'll talk about at that point also. All right, any ahas so far? Go ahead.
One of the things that I like to point out on the bottom of 221, 2.21 is there is no model for chaos. And that's definitely an aha, especially if you've been in business for a while. Or you get away from your models and you end up in chaos.
Okay, so you guys don't see this, but I'm making squiggly lines and that's chaos. Here we are, we're talking about that model that is not a model. That is chaos. This is what chaos looks like in most realtors' lives. I'm going to tell you right here, most realtors spend their lives in chaos, going all over the place and not getting anywhere. If you will commit to following a model, and it may be a blend of models, but if you will commit to following a model, you will get from A to Z and your life will be much easier. Any other ahas? All right. We're going to talk briefly about the economic model. Okay, so guys, I gave you a sheet. Did everybody get these sheets? All right. I think, I don't know that you got these. I'll give you a couple of these. They're in your book, but I wanted to make a couple copies. Did you get these, Jim? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My eye isn't working right. I'm blaming it on my eyeball. All right, so the business economic model, this is really a model that is designed for someone that is really at a much higher level than what we're starting at right now. So what I want you to do on your worksheets, where you see the worksheet I just gave you, and let me see if I can find it on, okay, hang on a second. Okay. Sorry, guys, I know you don't have the worksheet, but I'll make sure you guys get a copy of this. So you're gonna see that the economic model, when we get to this, their cost of sales, et cetera, is 30, 30, 40. I want you to scratch out the 30, the 30, and the 40. I want you to make the 30 a 15, the 30 a 15, and the 40 a 70. And so as you go down, you're also on the page of that, you're gonna make that 15, 15, and 70. And I'll tell you why here. So a lot of people break down their expenses into categories. They'll break them down into operating expenses and they'll break them down into a cost of sale. All of my expenses are one. I don't break down cost of sales. Now, when you get to maybe when you've got 3 or 4 agents working with you, you may start breaking it down. And I'll tell you why. The cost of sale, and I just included in my expenses, but a cost of sale would be like my transaction coordinator, my photographer, my sign delivery guy. That's all of a cost of sale. I just put all those in my budget. I have a budget and I have a line item and they're all there. So what you really want your model to look like, and I'm going to actually, I just found, Andrew just found for me, where I can actually edit this, and I'm going to send you guys a different copy of it. So really what you want your model to be is 70-30. You want your expenses to never exceed 30%, and your income is 70%. Now, when you start becoming a team, and like I said, you have buyer's agents and listing agents and transaction coordinators and administrative, then you may start to break down into that 40, 30, 30, because then what's going to happen is your expenses are going up and your expenses are going to be higher than your income. Okay. But right now, just to make it simple for everybody, you want your income to be 70% and your business expenses not to be more than 30%. So if we were going to put this in here, we would put them different, okay, so that they would be, like I said, your net income. So as you can see, what we're going to do here as I go through this, we're going to start with the total GCI. So the total GCI is the number, when you see these percentages, the percentages are based off the total GCI, not the net income. Okay, so let's go through this. And I'm going to show you guys how to do it. Okay, so if I want a net income, hang on a second. I don't know if I can move that bar or not. Let me see. There we go. Well, maybe I'll move it down. Okay. If you want a net income of $1 million, I'm going to show you how to make this happen. Okay. All right. So a net income, I want to make a net income next year of $1 million. Okay, so what do I have to do? Well, my GCI needs to be 2.5 million. Okay, that's your closed gross income. That is your gross income on the check you bring in from the title company. If you do $100,000 closing, the commission check is $3,000. That's your GCI, okay? Another cost to sell expense could be your CAP, okay? I don't do my numbers this way, okay? But I'm going to teach you how to do it through the model. How I do mine is off of my net. So if I'm capped out, then it would be 3,000. If it was my 80-20, then it would be 2,400. And that's what I would base my numbers off of, is the 2,400. Okay. So I now know if I'm going to make $1 million a year, I need to make 2.5 million in closed gross income. That means my operating expenses can be no more than 750,000. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but that's a little like a number that I don't even recognize. Okay. Because because I'm not a 2.5. My goal isn't to be a 2.5, but what we are going to show you is how to use this spreadsheet. You can use it in any numbers and you can create what you want to make Maybe you want that total GCI to be 200,000. So then that 200,000, 70 is for 140,000, because we said you want to make an income of 70%. So that's how we're going to work that. Any questions so far? Okay. So my next cost of sale is 750,000. So that's how I make that net. Any questions so far at this point in time? Because I don't want to get past here if you guys don't understand how I came up with those numbers. Yes, Mary.
For everybody that's new, what would you say would be a good goal for a brand new person? I think.
Okay, so here's what I said earlier is that find out how much it is that you need to make to support your family, or how much it is that you need to support yourself, or how much you need to add to the family income. And I know you didn't hear this, and I don't know if Glenn did, or I don't know if Keisha did. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. But this is just a really basic overview for today. The true workshop for 2022 business planning is October the 6th, 9 to 4. I recommend everybody be there because that's the day we're actually hands-on going to work on creating business plans for everybody in the room.
That's wonderful.
And so this way, if you need to make 100,000 next year, come with that number. And you'll have this worksheet. So you can, and I already showed you how to change those numbers. So you now know how you can already start working your worksheet right now. Okay, so any other questions? All right, so let's move on. Average commission amount, $71.50. Okay, now here's where it's going to come imperative, because this class is not going to be just for new agents in October. It's going to be for all of the agents, because we want everybody to kick off 2022 really well. If you know your numbers, bring your numbers that day, because that's how you're going to fill in these worksheets. I can tell you, I have an Excel spreadsheet, and I just finished it up last night. I have an Excel spreadsheet that has all of my business on it. I know already how much for the year I've made. I already know the percentage of the commissions I've made. I can take that. And the average commission is actually about 2.75, the percentage, okay? So, because nobody's always at 3%. So it is an average. So if you're looking at numbers, we're going to give you an average of 2.75. So if you've done some business, let's use those numbers, okay? If not, then what I'm going to do is I will have numbers that are comparative for this office for average commissions, average sale price, average purchase price, and so we'll go from there, okay? But if you have numbers, bring them. Like you, Karen, you'll have your numbers, so that'll be perfect for you to bring all your numbers, okay? Mary, you have numbers, I know that, so you need to bring your numbers so that we can put this into play. And Stacy and Glenn and Keisha, if you guys have numbers, bring those with you. Okay, now we're going to move on. So for this 2.5 million to net $1 million, I know that my average commission is 71.5. Guess what? I have to sell 350 homes to make 2.5 million. I'm going to tell you something. It's not impossible. It's not impossible at all. I worked on a team that was in the 200s. Okay, you can put together an amazing team, and you can do this. You really truly can. So that's why the model is presented this way, because it can happen. And I would love to help anybody get to that level. By the time I retire in 9 years, I'd be thrilled to see a couple of people in this. I actually have an agent. I think it's really truly going to actually end up being a millionaire agent. So, okay, so I now know that I have to have 350 homes sold. Everybody understand where we're at now? Any questions? I don't want to lose you at this point. Everybody cool? All right. All right, here we go. So I know that I have to sell 350 homes. All right. Okay, so on the sell side, I need 50% sellers listing sold. Okay. That equals 175 listings sold. Do you see how that is? 50% of 350, that's just where we're going. So follow this, because this is what's happening. We're taking that 350 total units times 50% equals 175. Are we all cool? I don't want to lose you on this because I know it gets a little confusing. All right. Here's your conversion rate. All right. This is an important number. Write it down on the document because we're going to use that. I'm going to let you use that number if you don't have any other numbers yet. Okay, so we'll say this 70. So what this means is that you're going to take 175 and you're going to divide it by the 70%. That's your conversion rate. Your conversion rate is how many I'm going to close. So I have a 75% conversion rate. For me, that's a much higher number. It's probably 95%. Only because, like I said, after 31 years in the business, 95% of my business is past client referrals. So, you know, if you call me to list a home, I know my conversion rate's going to be higher. I'm pretty well out. Karen, the same thing for you. I'm sure your conversion rate's higher than 70%.
Yeah.
Karen's been around a long time. She's great. People love her. She has great customer service. She knows what she's doing. She's professional. She's out there. And guess what? That all shows up and it makes that conversion rate go higher, much higher. Okay. If you're a lousy agent, I'm going to tell you it's probably 25%.
I have a question about that number.
Sure.
Is it, just for clarity, is it listing appointments you go on? Do you get 70%, or is it once you have it listed?
We'll get
70%?
there.
Because that seems low if it's, you've already got the listing and only 70%.
This is the percentage of those that you have to convert. See,
Okay.
we'll get down here, percentage of appointment conversion rate. Right now, we're just going to say on an average for everybody that's starting in business, you need 175 listings sold, but your sold rate is going to be at 70%. Okay.
Mine's got to be, I'm sure, in the 90s.
Oh, I'm sure yours is much higher, much higher. So is mine. Okay, so now we're going to say how many total listings do we need? We need 250. Okay. So that's how many listings we need. Next, our percentage of conversion. This is of the actual conversion rate of where you're starting to take those. And then this is what the bottom number is. Okay, so here's how many appointments I need. See how I got there? We'll go back. Remember, we're basing it off of that 350. 350 times 50% equals 175. I'm going to divide it by a sold conversion rate of 70. How many total listings do I need? I need 250. What is my appointment conversion rate? My appointment conversion rate is 75%. Mine is higher than that. Karen's is higher than that. Should be. We've been in the business. If our numbers are not higher, you shouldn't be listening to me here today. Okay, so this tells me right now that if I want to hit 350 on the sales side, I have to have this many appointments throughout the year. Okay? Do we all get that? Good job. All right. So please, if this has confused you, just speak up. It's okay. It takes, I've been doing this for a long time and I go to look at it real quick and I still am like, oh, I'm confused. So it's okay if you're confused. I just want you to know it's okay. All right. So now let's talk about the buy side. Okay. So 50%, I want to have 50% on the buy side. There we go. All right. So the same thing. So if I need 50%, then I need 175. Remember, 50% of 350 is 175. Sold, we're using that same 70%. 250, same number. 70%, wow, I've gone now from 75 on my listings to 70 on my buyers. Why do you think that happened?
Buyers give up.
Buyers give up, somebody gets fired, somebody goes out and buys a new car before closing, and now they no longer qualify for the house, which it has happened to all of us. My famous story is a couple that was buying a Dominion new build, and that's how long ago it's been. They were getting married, and I had lectured them constantly, do not buy anything. And like a week before closing, goes out and buys a motorcycle. Guess what? They didn't buy a house, and he did not get married. So, and maybe that was why he bought it. He didn't want to marry her. So, but buyers fall through. Something happens. Buyers are as a solid deal as the seller. Back to that leverage we talked about. We're 5% difference. Okay, so now I need 357 buyer appointments to be able to sell 350 units and gross 2.5 million and bring home $1 million in my checking account. Get that? So somebody tell me why it's important that you know these numbers. And right now, that worksheet, if we stop today, this is golden. This is the golden nugget in business. So tell me why you think those numbers are important. I'm gonna
You
pick on
have-
somebody if you don't speak
you
up. No, Mary, no, you're not allowed to
Oh.
answer.
Sorry.
You know, you know why those numbers are important. I need somebody else to speak up. Come on. Kelsey.
I,
Go
can
Go
you
ahead,
hear me?
Stacy.
Just so that you'll have some type of guide to where you need to be and what your numbers need to show to make your goal for the year. I mean, the numbers to me would only represent a visual of what I need to sell in order to meet my goal.
Correct. If you have no idea how many appointments that you need to go on, how do you know what you're going to make for money? I mean, how do you know how much you're going to bring home? How much do you know that you're going to have to pay that mortgage payment, that car payment? If you don't have a model, if you don't have a roadmap, if you don't have an expectation, you're floundering. And this is why so many agents do not make it in the real estate business. I can stop right here and say, go home, follow this, put your numbers in, come up with what you need, and guess what? You could take this alone and be successful. Because if you don't know that you need to, so here I want somebody to do me a favor. Somebody grab a calculator and somebody divide the 333 times 52 weeks, and then somebody divide 357 by 250 or 52 weeks. And then tell me what those numbers are.
333 divided by 52 is 6.40.
Okay. And the 357?
6.86.
6.86. Okay, so this is what that's going to tell you is that you need a minimum of, we're going to just round down for listings, you're going to need 6 appointments a week. And for the buyers, we're going to round up, it's going to be 7. So that's telling you right now that that's what I have to do. Right there's your roadmap. That's how many appointments you have to have per week. So if you have that visual that tells you I have to be out on 6 listing appointments and 7 buyers appointments, what does that tell you? Get on the phone, call people, talk to people, hand out your business card. So do you see how important that is as a roadmap? Kelsey, what do you think? I mean, you know, you've been doing it for a little bit.
Yeah, I think the numbers are important because it's easy with life to just kind of go about things and all of a sudden you're way off track, not
Yeah.
following the plan.
So I'm going to give you a quick example of something. So, in which I've had to refocus myself. My business was off this year for a couple of reasons. One is I had COVID in January, February. I was very, very ill. So I lost 2 months of the year. And then I started selling in Florida. And so I've been back and forth. And I haven't really come up with a good plan for Florida. It's a good business for me, but I haven't come up with that really good plan. And so here's what's been happening for me. And I know it's not dry yet, but here's my business plan for Florida. I haven't got that down. So this is what my business looks like here. I'm totally off focus. I am totally out of kilter. That's why I was up at 1:30 this morning texting a client because I forgot about him, because I'm right here right now. So what I have learned is I've got to refocus. I've figured out my model for Florida. I figured out how I want to do it here in Ohio. I have finally come to terms with that. I know that I can make that work, but I now have a model. So here's what I've been doing. So for this year, this is what my business looks like. That's why my business is down. I know that because I have been like all over the place. So I can tell you as a top producer in the office that if you live by this, your income is going like this. I still make a good income, but it's not what I was making because I've lost my focus. So stay focused, stay true, stay focused to your numbers, know your numbers. All right. Okay. Whew. Any questions? All right. So you understand now how you've come up with an idea of how many appointments you have to make a year. Now you know how many appointments you break down to a month and a week. All right. There you go. So it's 30 a month, and they just rounded them up to both numbers. So 7 and 7. That's how much you got to do. All right. So let's just real briefly hit this one because I want to move on. But so 1 is your investment. 1 is your time, your cost to sell, your operating expenses. I want to tell you right now that, so I looked up something I wanted to share with you guys. So it's expensive to get into real estate. It is. I know that. You're putting up money and you don't have money coming in right away, et cetera, et cetera. But does anybody have any idea how much it costs to open up one McDonald's franchise? Just somebody throw a number out there.
I'm gonna be
Million
low.
plus,
What's that? Glenn,
$1 million plus.
you cheated. Do you own a franchise?
No,
Okay, so just bare minimum pocket to even submit a franchise fee is $45,000. Okay, and that's probably out in the cornfield. Okay, so but if you're doing a main and high kind of location, it's 1 million and above, up to 2.5 million for a franchise. Do you know that McDonald's franchises are not profitable until you have about 5 to 8 franchises? That's why you never see a one person only have one franchise. You don't even make enough to pay yourself. I forget the numbers. One of the top Keller Williams agents taught us this, and I forget the numbers. It was bare minimum. I mean, you made a little bit, but it's like, I would not work that hard for that little bit of money ever. I mean, it was peanuts. So, but they have to have 5 to 8 before they actually make enough money to survive and make it profitable for them. Okay, so what I'm saying is, then you look at what you have to invest in your business and your income is unlimited. Unlimited, unlimited because of how hard you want to work, how many hours you want to put into it. You can make as much money or as little money as you want by what you put into it. So your performance, behavior, skill level, ability, resources, which Keller Williams has all the resources you need, and you have your outcomes. You have your gross commission and your net income. All right. So I'm going to, there we go. Sorry, guys. Hang on a second. Maybe I can move you over to the other side now. Okay. So, we talked about this model, 30, 30, 40. I really would like you to go 15, 15, 70, or you can go 30, 70. 30 is going to be your expenses and 70 is going to be your income. And the reason why I do this is because we're not at a $2.5 million production yet, okay? So I really want to try to show you a little bit more about what it would be like for you for 2022, okay? So your income should always be 70% and your business expenses should never get out of 30%. Have you ever heard Gary Keller talk about the red light, green light? Okay, so red light and green light is this. You operate not with income, you leverage your income, but you use the red light, green light like this. Okay, so perfect example. My income is down some this year. Nothing major, but it's down because I lost my focus. I've been on too many airplanes. So my income's down. So what should I do? If I want to keep in that 70-30 balance, what should I do? Okay, well, I'll tell you what I did. My very first thing I did was I looked at my expenses. Okay, I looked at my expenses. Okay, so my income's down a little bit. I'm not going to cut out my marketing, my lead gen money. I'm going to leave that there. That makes me money. Okay, so how many subscriptions am I putting money out that I don't even pay attention to and I've signed up for and they just come out of my bank account? I have no clue. Oh, wow. Well, let me go look at my bank accounts and see. Oh, okay. Wow, I just saved $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year. Okay, that makes a difference. Okay, so that red light, green light is this. If your income's here, then you need to hit the red light. You got to hit the brake, hit the red light. The red light is I'm stopping. I'm reevaluating my expenses. And maybe I don't need to do anything. I just have to pick up the phone more for the rest of the year. Okay. But you should always reevaluate your expenses quarterly. Every year, every quarter, you should reevaluate them because expenses can get out of control and all of a sudden your expenses could be 50-50, 50% of your profit and you don't want to be there. Okay, so you always want to hold them into that 30% as a single agent, or for you guys, you're going to be, husband and wife, you still would want to follow off of that, 30% expensive, 70% income. Does anybody have any questions on that? You know what, I'm going to hit something I said earlier that I think a few people were not on. So this model, the 30-30-40, is designed really for a bigger team that is doing that 2.5 million. As a single agent or a husband and wife or a two-partner team, your gross income is fine. Your operating expenses and your cost of sales both should equal 30% together, and your net income should be 70%. So cost of sales are the cost of getting the business, the transaction coordinator, et cetera, et cetera. I put all of those together as an operating expense. I do not break those down. Okay, now what I do though on my spreadsheet of my business, my Excel spreadsheet, I can tell you exactly how much I paid my transaction coordinator this year because it's on my list. I can tell you exactly how much I paid for photography this year and sign, install, and delivery. Okay, but when it's at the year end, it's all one operating expense because I'm not a big enough team to have 60% expenses. If I have 60% expenses, I need to get out of it. I've got to throw up all the flags because I'm really way out of balance. Any question on that up in the online gallery. Does anybody have any questions? Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay, all right. So that economic model, we're just gonna, I'm just gonna skip that. Okay, so remember, this is what we just talked about. This is the same thing. You're looking at this leads generated, how it comes down, how it comes into your gross commission. And those are the same figures that we used earlier. All right. We're back to this one again. Oh, how did I do that? Sorry, guys. Okay, so here, we're gonna go, if you wanna make 500,000, I think you guys have the sheet in your book. Do you?
Yes.
Okay. It's the same type of figures as we used before. If you wanna come home 500,000 a year, this is what you're gonna look at, okay? Now, since this is actually going to change from 60% to 30%, you're going to, at 1.2 million, actually make more than 500,000. Realize those numbers are going to change. So you can maybe make 1 million in total gross and end up with 500. Because remember, our expenses are not going to be 60%. They're only going to be 30. That's why I had you guys write on that sheet that I gave you, so that you can keep that as a reference when you're looking at these. All right. We're not selling as many, not selling as big homes. And as you can see, this all breaks down. 11 a month, 3 a week, 5 a week. Okay, so now we've gone from 7 and 7 to 3 and 5. But okay, that's because we're not going to make as much money. We're not out at that goal. That's what we're looking for. Okay. There's the next sheet in your book is give you an example. And like I said, I gave you the hard copy so you guys could just sort of work on that. So that'll be there for you guys to work over. All right. Any ahas? Somebody talk. Come on,
Sorry.
somebody speak.
I'm being honest. I was having much chaos, so I'm not good to comment. Sorry.
Mary, is your building done?
You know what? Speaking of which, and I hope you touch on this. I don't know if you do. Can you see my dream board back there that we made in that class?
Hang on a second. Ah, there's your vision board.
My vision board, my dream board. Highly recommend it to everybody. Kathy and Jill taught a class. I don't know, was it last fall? I know Karen was there. Yes, my building is done. The barn is up and we are checking things off on that list, the pink list that's over there.
Good,
So,
good for
yes.
you.
Yes.
So Mary, I don't know that if I touched on this, but on September the 29th, we are doing the Big Y and the vision board in the office 9 to 12.
Okay.
It will not be on Zoom.
Okay.
It's going to be a hands-on because it's going to lead up to the business planning clinic on October the 6th.
And
For
that's
those that-
September 29th?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
If I can offer maybe a little bit of a comment. The way I run my business is I do 70-30 as well. I keep everything very simple on one spreadsheet, my expenses. I have a net income running constantly. I do evaluate quarterly, just like I said, because I do quarterly tax payments. I don't wait till the end of the year to pay my taxes. I do them quarterly. Why I'm here though, is I don't break it down into the details of how many appointments I need to do to reach this.
Yeah.
So I need to expand my business as well. That part, I have no idea. So that's what I have to focus on. But I'm good with the 70-30 split. I'm good with tax payments and all that, but I need to dream bigger.
Good. Well, it's easy to do very well in this business, but it's even easier to fail at this business. When I say to people, the really cool thing about real estate is that you can make as much money as you want. But I also follow that up with, you can also make the least amount of money. Because you have to be self-motivated. You have to be able to do this. You have to be able to pick up the phone. You have to be able to lead gen. And if you can't do that, then, maybe you would be better on a team or, as a buyer's agent, et cetera. But so, our whole goal is to set you up from the beginning to be successful. We want everyone to be successful. We're trying to make it that you can make as maximum amount of money as you want. All right, we're going into the lead gen. I'm going to jump a few pages here. All right, all right, geesh. Let's see here. All right. So let me catch up on something. I want to jump over to this page. And it is, what page is that? Okay, here, I want to jump over to page 4.3 first. Okay, so let's talk about some lead gen activities. We're, getting into that point where we're, how do I get business? How do I, besides picking up the phone and just calling people, how do I do that? So, we have prospecting, we have both, and then we have marketing. So as you look down through here, we have all kinds of opportunities. You have phone or face-to-face. You can call FSBOs, expireds. I'm going to tell you, there's a guy in the office here, Dave Truitt. I love Dave. He's a little much at times to handle, but I'm sure he'd say the same thing about me. So Dave, it's okay, I know. But I have to say this, I will give kudos to Dave Truitt all day long, because that man is a machine. He doesn't care who he talks to, he asks them about real estate. I don't care who it is. He can call a for sale by owner and expired. He can see somebody on the street and they'll be his client. And that's because he just does it. He talks to everybody about real estate. But here's the key. Everybody likes to talk real estate. So when they find out that you're in the real estate business, they'll say, oh yeah, blah, 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 and you start talking business. But how many of you walk away without asking if they want to buy or sell, or know somebody that wants to buy or sell? That's a weak point for me. I'll talk all day long, and then I'll walk away and think, I'm better at it now. I just don't do a lot of lead gen in that regards. I do more lead gen with my database. But learn to talk to people and then ask them. You'll be surprised at how many people know somebody that's thinking of moving. All you have to do is ask. Dave Truitt is a whiz at this. And scripts, I hope to get him to do a scripts class, because he is absolutely amazing when it comes to scripts. So there's all type of opportunities, and you can look through there. And the cool thing about it is now with command, you have so many opportunities to do lead gen right through command. So I do the birthdays, and it was funny. So last month I got 2 texts back through Kelly, the app, that said, thank you, Kim, I appreciate it. And I'm like, well, what was that from? It was my happy birthday text, because I have Twilio. And so my clients on their birthday got my automatic birthday text, and then they got an email. And then I followed up with a phone call. And then I followed up with a Facebook. Everybody loves to be acknowledged. But 5 minutes, Part of it I didn't even do. I didn't do the email and I didn't do the original text. And Facebook, 2 minutes, happy birthday. Hope you enjoy your special day. And, you know, you call them and say, hey, just want to say, you know, hope you have a good birthday, et cetera. So there's all kinds of opportunities through using Command, Twilio. If you haven't gotten a Twilio account, I recommend that you do. It's very inexpensive. You can set it up for open house, smart plans, birthday, home anniversary, whatever you want to do. It's great. It automatically sends out a text to your clients. Happy home anniversary. Can't believe it's, you know, another year. Hope you're enjoying it. And you didn't even do it. You set it up one time and it happens. It just goes out. So I recommend that you do that. Farming, we actually had a marketing class in here not too long ago. And farming, I'm not mean going out and planting the corn, but doing a geographic or demographic farm of a neighborhood where you live, et cetera. Another one is open houses, seminars, contests, client appreciation. If I can pull this together, I'm going to do a client appreciation party at my house on the bye week in October when the Buckeyes are not playing. Okay, don't do anything when the Buckeyes are playing. It won't, unless you're having the TV on and having a football party. Don't do anything on football or high state football, especially when it's a big game. Nobody shows up. So I am going to, it's on my agenda this week. I'm going to call Lynn's and find out how many 100 pumpkins will cost me. I'm going to open it up to my neighborhood that I'm farming, where I live. I'm opening it up all to my past clients, their friends, and I'm posting it on Facebook. I'm going to have a free pumpkin giveaway. I'm going to have drawings. I'm going to get my vendors to donate things to, you know, give away for raffles. I am going to have coffee and cider and pumpkin everything. Okay, so now I understand that in the beginning of the business, you don't really, you know, have that, but that is something as you get moving forward that you can do. And I've never really done a client event, big client event before, so I'll be interested to see how this goes. But not only am I doing client, I'm pulling it into be my neighborhood, my farming, and friends and family. So, and then there's different things there you can do in your marketing. Okay, let's get over now to well, let's see here. Let's jump over to trying to catch up. Actually, it's 2:20. Let's take a 5-minute break, guys. Everybody, we're on hold for 5 minutes. Potty break, drink break.
Okay, Kim,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go. I have a doctor's appointment.
Okay. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate you too. And I look forward to our one-on-one meeting on the 19th.
Yes, it'll be fun. I'll see you then.
Well, all right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. How you been, Mary?
may have an SUV or what may have made it. It's what commercial houses. Be careful. I mean, literally, so on Wagner, right there where all the houses are. There's a couple ponds. I've never got water that happened ever. I know.
Anybody learning anything today?
Definitely.
Well, I hope you feel that it's been worth your while coming out today. I hope so.
Absolutely has for me.
Hmm.
I said I absolutely feel that way.
Well, good. Makes me feel good. Makes me think I'm doing something with my big room. I'm gonna go this way and then get started. All right, so if you will go to page 4.13. And this is the Do Not Call Telephone Consumer Protection Act. Just remember, before you start doing cold calling, you need to make sure that people are not on the do not call list. I recommend that you do Mojo dialing and they keep the list updated. So you have that. People love to come after people that have called them because they can get money from you. Just make sure you know. All right. So I want you to turn over to page 4.15. And we're going to talk about database size. So I don't know if you've ever heard when people talk about their database, but everybody, you know, your database is your gold mine. Your database is money. When I retire, if I want to get out of the business 100%, I will sell my database to somebody. That database I have created is worth money because it's everybody in my database is solid people I know. I could pick them up, pick up the phone and call them, reach out to them. They would know me. So here's something cute. So yesterday, I noticed on Facebook that one of my clients it was his birthday. And so I posted on his Facebook and then I texted him. He's an older gentleman. And so he, hey, happy birthday, Phil. Hope all's well. And he texted back and he says, thank you, I really appreciate it. He says, but I don't recognize the number. And I laughed and I said, it's Kimberly Sherrod. And he's like, oh my gosh, I just want to thank you so much on how much we appreciate you selling our house. We're so excited. You were great, blah, blah. I didn't say anything about that. You know, I just said happy birthday. And then he's like, and they were building, and he's like, but without me, they had already done that. And so he was telling me about the house, it's gonna be done in September, blah, 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 blah. Total reconnection, even though they've been getting my stuff. And he was so excited, and you know, I told him, tell Maureen I said hi, blah, blah, blah. So just those little things really reconnect you with your database. But here's the thing, As soon as I said my name, boy, he was off and running about how happy they were and got their house sold and blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you how I got this client. So here's your database. This is why it's important. I have one client, their name is Steve and Linda Early. Steve and Linda Early moved to Columbus from Ironton, Kentucky. I'm originally from Kentucky. And he was coming up with AEP. I worked at, I don't even know how I got them as a referral in the beginning, but they came up. I sold mom and dad a house in Harrison Pond. And then son is getting married. I sell son and his future wife their first house, which is, this room's bigger than their first house. So I sell them that house. Then I sell them another house because like they now have like 3 babies. So I sell them another house over in Albany Park, or Albany Park, and they were there. And then they had one more baby. And then they moved to Licking County. I moved them to Licking County. That's 4 babies right now. And they had another baby. And so then we moved them to Chillicothe. And the day they were closing, they didn't tell me, but they were expecting baby number 6, was a total surprise. Baby 5 and baby 6 were total surprises. So I've sold them that many houses. But not only did I sell them that many houses, I sold the house that they were living in, and I sold them a house they were buying. Okay, that's for mom and dad. Then I sold the daughter a house. And then the kids, the children of the parents have referred multiple people to me, and I have sold them multiple houses. So do you see how that works with the database? Okay, so mom and dad Early, Linda and Steve Early, I sold their place in Harrison Pond. They had a house built on Boston Road. I sold that house $500,000 plus, and they moved to Chillicothe to be close to the grandkids. They tell their next door neighbors how much they love me. That's Phil, the guy I talked to last night, and I sold his house too. So do you see how all of that works and how important it is to stay in touch? And so Phil and I reconnected, chatted a few times. He was telling me how excited about his house he is. But that's how a database works. That's why a database is a gold mine. That's why your database is worth money. If I sell, and I would say to the Earlys that this person that's taken over for me is the next best thing to cream cheese, they're going to use that agent. That is now money that's, you know, that agent's willing to pay for that database. So your database is your gold mine while you're in business. It also is your gold mine if you exit the business. So what do you do with the database? Well, you massage it, you nurture it, you wish people happy birthday, you get on Facebook. Oh my gosh, I get on Facebook because I have a few sets of family that they're just like family to me now. Their kids are into all kinds of stuff. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I'm always commenting something nice, heartful, you know, really truthful about what their kids are up to, what they're doing and everything. I'm always staying in touch and doing that. I try to look at Facebook only 3 times a day in the morning just to see. It's how I find out who's pregnant, who's getting married. Unfortunately, if somebody's getting divorced, if a parent has passed, that's how I stay in touch with everybody. And I'm telling you, that is a gold mine. And that is massaging your database. Now, we have this wonderful CRM called Command. And yes, you guys don't know this, but Command has been a pain in the arse, but it has come a long way. And it really, really, truly has. So on, I have my training calendar here in front of me. On September the 1st, we have an all-day training Command class with Rachel Hall from 10 to 4. And lunch will be provided. And I recommend, my son just texted me, his mother-in-law's house just flooded. Their basement is fully finished. On the east side is really, really bad right now, guys. It's just flooding tremendously. I mean, Megan she ran home, she had water all the way up to her house. She said her next door neighbor has 4 inches of water in their house. Oh, Michael just sent me a picture where he's living. It's just, they're flooded, but not up to the
Where
house.
is that?
This is over off Sunbury, his place, but hers is out east out there by that Wagner Road, Kennedy Road, all that whole area is just absolutely flooded terribly. All right, so back to that class. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm just saying, if you have any clients that are over in that area, you definitely want to check on them. Make sure they check their basement. All right, so the all-day command class with Rachel Hall. Be there, or as the old saying, be square. Because I'm telling you, we are going to rock that class, and you really need to be really up to terms on using command, because guess what? Command runs your database. Command is your massager. Command is what's going to send out that happy birthday, happy home anniversary, send out neighborhood nurtures. Matter of fact, I've got myself set up on the birthday smart plan, home anniversary smart plan, neighborhood nurture smart plan. I tag myself as an open house attendee, so I'm on the open house smart plan. And so I see, and I get the text, I get the email, so I know that it's working, it's going out. Okay, so on page 4.15, it says you have 500 contacts in your databases, they need to receive 36 touches a year. Okay, so if you have a database and you multiply it by your conversion, you should have 15 appointments from a year from your database. Now, if you have 500 people, you should definitely truly get 15 appointments a year. You really should. And that doesn't mean just them, but that means from people that they know. Okay. So, wow, I got 500 people in my database and I can automatically count on 15 appointments. But here's the thing, that is if you ask them. That is if you pick up the phone and call them. You can do all the nurturing you want, but you still have to have face-to-face contact with people and phone calls. Right, Mary? Mary knows. Mary's
Yes, yes,
Mary
sorry, I
is-
was trying to find my unmute.
Mary's she's doing great. Mary, how long have you been in the business now?
I have been in the business almost 2 years.
Yeah,
Almost
and
2 years.
Mary's rocking it. And Mary always gets good reviews and everybody loves Mary. But you know, that's partly because she does what she's supposed to do. And so
I was also trained by a very good person that might be speaking now. Hint to everyone,
thank you, Mary.
you're welcome.
Appreciate that. I'm just trying to make sure I get everybody's names here so I can put them on the list that attended today. Any questions so far on talking about the database and how important the database is? Okay, so somebody give me an idea of how many people are in your database. Mary or Karen, how many is in your database?
Well, I have a lot still put in.
I mean, but how many do you have, say, as a database?
250 maybe.
Okay, but is that a pretty solid 250?
Oh, yeah. I don't put in like other agents and,
Yeah.
you know, if I have no chance of ever having a transaction with them, they don't go.
Okay,
But I've got, unfortunately, again, a pile on my desk that I need to put in.
so I have a Dave.
In here.
In the trade.
Put your head in here.
Yes.
This is Dave Truitt, guys. If you can ever pick this man's brain about script conversations, talking to people, asking for real estate business, this man is a rock star.
Objection handling and scripting, okay? So I used to teach this years ago, and I love it. And I've got a whole team and we debate back and forth. And every time we meet, I said, what kind of objections are you struggling to overcome? Or what and who are you trying to pursue? And what is the message you're trying to deliver, right? It's as simple as that. Because there's only, if you don't mind, there's only 3 ways to make money in this business, right? You're helping people buy houses, you're helping people sell houses, and then you're sending referrals outside of our network, right? those are the three conversations you will have hundreds, if not thousands of times. And once you internalize it and make it your own, you can speak to anybody. It doesn't matter if they're a first-time buyer, if this is the 10th investment home that they buy, or if they're selling a multi-unit, or they're selling their grandmother's house, or whatever it is. Like, this is the path we're going down, right? So you take my words, or anybody else's for that matter, we got a bunch of great agents here, and make it your own. Because the way I talk is not how very many other people talk. I'm colorful in my language.
Yes, he is.
My mother taught me to cuss at a very young age, right? So I don't recommend that for everybody, right? But the point is to understand where they're coming from and then offer solutions, right? This is, you ask the questions, they tell you what they want. And then you say, here's the paths that we can go down and what your reasonable expectations might be, right? It's as simple as that. But I live here in the bullpen, right? Like, I'm sitting out here, I'm 7 days a week. I live like, oh God, I got an office in the back. I don't ever even sit in it. I like the action, right? I like to hear the sounds and smell the smells of business being done. So if any of you ever have any questions, or you just want to role play or bounce ideas off me, please just come stop me and I'll challenge you all day long. And you will not be able to stop me from overcoming your objections.
And I see your people out here a lot whenever I come in, so they do the same thing.
I heard you today talking about in your team meeting about objections. What are you guys having? Yeah, I heard him talking today.
Every week is the same question, right? Because you find yourself in new situations every week, right? You're dealing with people who have a different story to tell you than the people you met the week before, right? How are you going to convey the message of not only for them to have confidence in you, but and your abilities to get what they want done. But until you understand, you can't walk them down the path that they already want to be on. The beauty of real estate is we're not selling people things they don't want. Everybody wants to own a home, or you're buying a home, you're selling them, or your job is transferring you, or whatever it is, and you got to send them to some other city wherever in the country, right? But it's wash, rinse, and repeat. I've said the same words 1,000 times to 1,000 different people, right? But I've made my own script, and it's wonderful. I love. Oh, it's a game. I learned to debate at a very young age. I have 4 sisters, right? And keeping up with all those women, like, I learned to debate real young. You know what I mean? And that's all that this is. But you're giving them the method. Like, they're telling you, they have their hand in here. I want to sell a house. Great. You should be able to just rattle off a dozen different things as far as how you're going to be a benefit to them in selling their home. They want to buy a house. Fantastic. You should be able to just rattle off a dozen different things as far as how you are going to help them accomplish the goals that they already want to accomplish. It's not difficult. It's fun. Like, I love it. I'm a weird. You know what I mean? Like, I just think there's nothing better than getting a yes. Oh God, there's nothing better than getting a yes. Like, it's glorious, right? And that's all we're here to do. You meet people, they say, this is what I want to do. You have to know how to take them step by step along the way. I have an 11-step guide for buyers that I like to use. And I just say, here's literally today's conversation of step 11 is I'm handing you a set of keys. You know what I mean? And if y'all want copies of it, everything I have, I willingly share with anybody. And any good agent will do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because
I have
they're
not
they're
found
letting
anybody in
anybody-
this office that,
Well, there's a couple of jerks around. Don't worry. But anybody that's doing a volume of business, and we've got some great top producers, Kimberly one of them, and she's phenomenal. I mean, she'll answer all your questions, but some people have different skill sets, right? Learn from everyone you can. What
I told
encourage
him earlier was this, that you're great for the conversations and the scripts, and you will talk to anybody about real estate, and you will always ask for business. I said, I've got a weakness for some things. Dave is perfect. That's the nice thing about having an office that we have. We have so many different people, so many quality agents here that you can always find somebody. So I'm going to set Dave up on a class on doing conversations.
Yeah, no, objection handling on the 30th. We have a call night. I have a loan officer that's bringing all kinds of leads in. And I furnish snacks and booze, right? So and it's like 5:30 to 7:30. All of you are welcome to come. We'll sit right here and everyone's on their phones. We're making calls and we're doing what happens. Now, I encourage you to learn how to have a conversation first before that. But that gives you 2 weeks to learn how to call on a buyer, right? Watch YouTube videos. You know what I mean? Practice in the mirror. practice on your dog. It doesn't matter, like, but just get comfortable saying the words, you know, and it's not, and then once you got it, the next 20 years are easy. You know, you already know what you're gonna say,
The 30th?
the 30th.
All right,
Yeah,
guys,
so-
30th, come in, have dinner and get on the phone and make phone calls.
Snacks, I didn't say dinner, right? Like, I'll-
Hey, look, no, let me say something. If you're a realtor, snacks or dinner.
Yeah, that's true, right? Handful of M&Ms has been lunch many a time.
Yes, definitely.
But here's what I recommend to new agents, like find somebody that produces, take them to lunch. All right, you're paying, right? But take them to lunch. You get an undivided hour of their time to just ask them all the questions you want. And any agent that's worth their salt will answer all your questions. I'm not afraid of any of you stealing my business. You know what I mean? There's hundreds of millions of dollars of transactions that happen every week in this county and the surrounding counties. Hundreds of millions. There's plenty for everybody. Go get it. You know what I mean? Have at it. But I have a loan officer coming in on the 30th, 5:30. You all are welcome. Sit down and just make some calls.
And he's bringing the leads.
He's bringing banker boxes of files of leads that have come in, past clients, all this different stuff. And it's free for everybody. Come and get it.
There you go, guys. I recommend you be here.
Right.
And you know what? Even if you don't do anything other than come
And just listen.
and listen.
Right.
Just come and listen to how the conversations go, because I think it will be a tremendous value for you. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna write that down, and I just might come in and just listen and see how it's going. The
I
30th,
send my new agents that night.
5:30 to
There's plenty to go around.
7:30.
Someone besides me.
Look, come on in. And here's the thing, all right, now, if a lender's providing you with a lead and you get them to say that they're interested in buying something, obviously that goes to that loan officer, right? You don't poach off of anybody and then send them to a different loan officer. You don't get somebody that gives you an opportunity and then you take it elsewhere. Don't you ever do that, all
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Because you don't bite the hand that feeds you. Simple as that. Right?
thanks, Dave. I appreciate
No,
it.
it's my pleasure. I can go on for hours.
I know, that's why we have to kick him out, but
Right,
love
yeah,
you,
no,
Dave.
look, listen to this woman. She'll tell you.
Oh, he is a fireball. And
Wears
man,
me out.
he does. So that, let me tell you something, that boy is, okay, all right. So let me give you a guess. I will say that Dave will be the next millionaire agent in the office. And like I said, the cool thing is about it, he will do anything to help you. So anybody that's out there, Dave is having a call night, 5:30 to 7:30 on the 30th, snacks. There's a lender coming with a banker's box full of leads. So come and make phone calls, or if nothing else, come and listen to the conversations that are being had. So this way you can learn from the best. All right, so we're gonna keep moving. And so as you can see here, you can fill out this 4.15 because it will tell you how you end up with how many appointments you need, how far you need to go. Let's look at what we have up here on the screen now, and we're on page 4.21. Okay, my database, my business. Okay, so remember back when we were talking and we did all the numbers earlier. So we know that contacts are needed to achieve contacts in my database today. We're going to use these numbers back on the page that you're going to fill out on page 4.15. If you fill this out with those conversion rates, it's going to be the numbers you're going to use for this right here for your database. Because right now what we need to do is grow your database. Most of you won't have a big database. I have about 500 in my database. And I know Kathy Kyra probably has 6,000 in her database. My 500 is gold. I love my 500. I keep massaging it. I keep working it. I add people into it. It's good. But so this sheet is, and here's what I would recommend if you guys get to make a copy of these so that you can do your sloppy copy. If any of you've ever had kids that go to school, they always have a sloppy copy. And that's what I gave you those other two to use as sloppy copies. Make you a couple of copies of these, fill them out, do them over, keep going, try it again until you come up with them. These are the information that we'll use on our big meeting on the 6th. Any ahas? How many do you have in your database?
I have 320 in mind.
Cool, good. Well, you came from a business background,
Yes.
and so we know that you had contacts and things. So are you getting them set up on the Command Smart plans?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, and in fact, I had a wonderful former employer who even at my previous job where I was at, even hands out my business card to new clients that come in.
Nice.
So I even have a little extra kick there. So I'm constantly adding people, which is really nice.
Great, awesome. Kelsey, I know Kelsey came from Cleveland and they're doing a church plant here, so they're just learning a whole new area again. And your husband, is it Alex? Alex is getting his real estate license and we're excited about that. And how many do you have in your database right now?
I have 150, but most of those are not from on this.
Okay, okay. But we talked about using those as referrals. You know, hey, you know, anybody's moving to Columbus, you know, anybody's moving to Florida. You know, hey, I got a great agent that works in Florida. Kelsey gets a 25% referral. Can't beat that. She has somebody coming down here. She gives somebody a referral in Cleveland. Now they're her client here.
The good thing about Command with that neighborhood nurture is you can set up their neighborhood nurture no matter where they are.
Right.
Because I have clients in other states where I've done referrals and I still put them on neighborhood nurture in their new neighborhood.
Yeah, that's true. I hadn't even thought of that, but that is true. That's a great aha. If you have somebody move out, put them on a neighborhood nurture. They
I've got
decide
some
to.
in West Virginia on a
Yeah.
neighborhood nurture.
There you go. We have hills and hollers back there, but we do have neighborhoods. So yeah, so you put them on, and so, you know, guess what? If they decide to move, they're probably more likely to call Karen and say, Karen, do you know of an agent here? You know, we're really looking to move. Or how about an agent in, you know, we're moving to California. Do you know somebody maybe in California that can help us? So it's all important to stay in contact with your database. Mary, any questions?
No, Mary's good. Thank you. And Craig, I'm glad you came in.
Yes, he told me that he had an absolutely amazing lady that was his mentor, but he couldn't remember her name.
Oh, really? Yeah,
I'm
I'll
only,
have to snap
I'm
him.
only kidding. No,
I'll have
he
to
had nice
snap
things.
him.
He had nice things to say about you and he knew
Good.
your name.
Good.
All right. Okay, so we're going to go over this part pretty easy, pretty quick. It's at 3 o'clock. This is so much to cover. That's why you can see now that we don't do this in a day. So follow along in the book as best as you can. If not, follow along on this. So the budget model, what we're going to go over now, is your budget and your profit and loss. If you decide to go buy a car or a house or something, an investment property, you're going to have a P&L. You have to have a P&L. Why is that? Because the lender wants to get an idea what your profit and loss is for the year. Don't fudge your P&L because of for your taxes. Okay, so the budget is a planning tool. It's created annually. It projects your returns and your cash flow, and it restrains the gain. The profit and loss is a management tool. Review it bi-weekly. Some people do. I look at mine periodically, quarterly. You look at yours monthly, you said.
Monthly,
Uh-huh.
but I reconcile it quarterly so I can do my tax.
Okay. So remember when I was talking about red light, green light earlier? That is it right there. Adjust to win. That adjust to win is red light, green light. So if my P&L's out of whack, I told you guys, if my money's down for the quarter and my expenses are going up, guess what's going to happen? Something's getting cut and it's not the income. It means one thing. Number one, I got to get on the phone more And number two, I have to hit that red light, green light. Whoop, the brake, put the brakes on. I gotta, back up a little bit on my expenses. And that even may be, I back up on my personal expenses. I don't eat out every day of the week, or not that I do. But I'm just saying, you do that. I tell you what, remember back to the story I told you guys, I haven't been using a credit card. In March, it'll be 2 years. And I'm so proud of myself. I'm 61 years old. And so for the first time, my first credit card was when I was 16. And the reason I had to get a credit card, it was a Lazarus and it had a $50 limit. But you guys don't remember this. But back in the day, if you had a checking account, you had to have a credit card as your second ID. Because we didn't have ATM cards. We didn't have that. You had to have your driver's license, your social security card, and a credit card. So my mom got me a credit card. I've had a credit card since I've been 16 years old. I used to love, I could run up a credit card in a heartbeat. But I am so proud of myself because guess what? I hit the brakes on those credit cards and my budget, my goal, my vision, my big why, all back to that. This all goes back to everything we've been talking about. I haven't used a credit card since March, a year and a half ago. Do you know how freeing that is to me to be able to say that? It is just so freeing to say that I haven't used a credit card. It's not like I have this astronomical debt of any, but credit card debt is nothing but a noose around your neck. So, but I'm like, I've done it and I don't, it's like smoking. I put up the cigarettes and I just, yeah. So, it's that, that adjust to win. I just quit using it because I was spending so much money in interest. And I'm thinking, geez, Louise, at the end of the year, I could have gone to Hawaii. So, just know that. So invest, don't spend, practice accountability, not accounting. Once again, it goes right with that. Don't run up your credit cards to be in this business. Only do with what you have. Okay? Use your money as leverage. Don't, waste your money where don't even have it and you're running up your credit card debt. All right. MREA budget terms. Cost of sales is cost of acquiring revenue. Gross profit, leftover after cost of sales, operating expenses, and net income. Guys, remember, this is where I told you that I take this cost of sales and operating expenses and they are one, okay? And then they're subtracted from here to come up with my net income. It's just too complicated right now. You guys, like I said, do line items, and we're gonna get ready to look at those, but you don't need to break those out like that and make it more complex. So we're right back to that 15. If you're gonna break it down, it should be 15, 15, and 70. All right. So here's some cool things. So everybody says, in the beginning, well, how much should I be spending on something? How much should I, what should I spend on lead gen? What should I be spending on office expenses? My automobile, my equipment, my insurance, blah, 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 et cetera. Okay, so right there it is. Your lead gen should be about 10%. Your occupancy is 1%. And that's your office expense, your supplies. All my supplies go in one. I do not break down supplies. I got my QuickBooks. I thought I was going to break it down in postage and this and this and that. And I went out the window. I have expenses, office expenses. Now, if you want to do your supplies and you want to break them down, you can really get specific, especially with QuickBooks. Do you get that detailed, Karen?
I don't use QuickBooks.
Okay, but on your spreadsheet, do you get that detailed?
On some things, postage I have split out, but I don't split out office supplies like paper, pens. I don't do it to that level.
Okay.
But I do have postage split out. So.
Uh-huh. All right. Okay, so then we're into the benchmarks. Oops. Right, here you go, guys. Let's look at your closed gross income right now. If you want to net 73,500 at the end of the year, cost of sales and expenses, they're keeping them right there at that 40%, or what are those? What do they have them at? 13 and 40 something. But here's how you do it. That's a net income of 50%. That should be 70%. You can take those numbers and you can rework them. Your expenses. So you have this, these, and these should be together. Then that's your gross profit minus your expenses should come out to your net income. But it should be 70-30 for you guys. You can see how I'm doing that, and then you can take it. And you can see right across what your best practices are. But that should be 70%. There's no reason at this point in your career that your expenses should be that high. Unless you're buying Zillow leads and spending thousands of dollars a month for them, which is crazy. Yeah, 70-30, remember that. I'm sorry, I stepped away and I walked to the other side of the room. So just remember on page, we are looking at page, what page is that, guy? Does anybody have it pulled up on your page real quick? I'm on the benchmark. So that benchmark, if you look in the first line, remember your net income should always be 70% for where we are today. Okay, should not be higher or should not be lower. It could be higher, it'd be wonderful, it's higher. You just don't want it to be any lower. All right.
5.7.
Okay, thank you. All right, so operating expenses. So here you can see how they have it broken down a little bit more. They have occupancy, education and coaching, office supplies, communications, etc. They have their, up here, they have their compensation and professional services. This is really where it's getting extremely detailed. We're not there. I'm not going to spend that much time going over it. It's not worth it. It's more information in your mind that you don't need. Okay, so here's a profit and loss. My profit and loss is an Excel spreadsheet with my income, my gross income, minus my expenses is my net income. And all my expenses are listed out pretty much like this. So here we have, now they have all their income broken down. I have just total income. Okay, now for my P&L. Now for my business on my Excel spreadsheet, I have my transactions, I have my referral business, I have my Florida business, and any other income coming in. Okay, so on my Excel spreadsheet it's that way so I can see how I'm doing individually. But if I had to provide somebody a P&L, this would all be right here. Closed gross income, my expenses, my business profit, etc. And so you will see. Now, just remember this, expenses are, make sure you're keeping track of your mileage every day. Mileage, I got a book, it's in the side of my door. I write my mileage down. Keep a track of your mileage. Keep a track of your time you go out and you buy coffee and you're at a meeting. You know, everything that you do, make sure you keep track of. And it's great now because you can do everything online. But you need to make sure you keep track of all your expenses for your accountant. So we'll move on over to the next page. And we are at on 5.17. And you can see a little bit better picture of how they have it broke down. This is where, you know, you start looking at when you're having a listing specialist, a buyer specialist, and you're paying them out their money. That is a cost of sale, okay? And so that you can keep track of how much you're paying your agents or, you know, transaction coordinator, paying an administrative assistant, anybody, you can use as cost of sales. But this is a little bit, like I said, it's a little further ahead than what we are. Okay, any ahas? I know that's boring. It is boring. Let's see here. This is the organization model. Okay, so now I want to talk about a few things that are extremely important in the budget model. And so I want you to take a few notes. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about actually being a real estate agent and being your own business. And it's not taught in the book, but I'm going to teach you or share with you. I'm not teaching you. I'm going to share with you what it really means to be a business owner and operator in the real estate world. So you are now a self-employed individual. You are a contractor, and you need to be able to run a business. So here's some things I recommend to you. Number one, you should form your own LLC. You want to form an LLC because you want to protect your assets, business assets from your personal assets, okay? I'm going to work on trying to get somebody to come in at the end of the business clinic that's an attorney that might be able to, give some ideas on doing that. I encourage you to hire an accountant. If nothing other, at the end of the year, to have the accountant review your tax documents. And this is just me just giving you some notes. So I recommend that you form an LLC. I recommend that you hire an accountant. I recommend, as you get going forward, that you file and talk to your accountant about filing as an S Corp. An S Corp is where you pay yourself an income. I think Karen does that.
I did my own business. but
Oh,
I
that's right,
set
that's
up
right,
my
we did.
real estate business.
Jill and I do that. And it saves you on taxes by doing that. Because you're paying yourself as an employee out of your LLC S Corp. And it allows you to, then you're not having to double tax everything. So it saves you money. So as you start making an income, which will be soon, you need to very seriously consider talking to an accountant and setting up an S Corp. My other thing is this, is that I will tell you this, there's nothing quicker for the IRS to audit you if you commingle your accounts, okay? And so what I mean is this, is that you need to open up a business bank account, and you should have two, or you can have three. I have four. So one is you should have where I call it your operating expenses. That's where your commission checks come in, and that's where you pay all your operating expenses out of. Number two, you should have a savings account for the business that you're always putting money aside for the rainy day fund. The third account should be your tax account. You need to make sure that you're putting money aside to pay the taxman. Is the quickest way to get out of this business is not pay your taxes. So an operating account where all your commissions come into, so this way you can show where all your income's coming from. You have an account that you have for savings. You have an account for your taxes. And I have my fourth as my payroll account. So everything's divided. So everything comes into one, and then I move it out. So when it comes in, I move it out. Money goes into savings, money goes into stays in the operating account, and then money goes into the savings. And my savings is also my tax account, and then my payroll account. If you commingle your real estate business with your personal funds, your personal checking account, and you're ever audited by the IRS, it will be hard for you to prove that you're an actual business because you're putting it in your personal stuff. It's all commingled together. And it needs to be separate. It's a real estate business. It should be separate. Go to the bank, set up your bank accounts, and don't start commingling from the beginning. You need to separate those. Like I said, because if you ever have to be audited, or you want to be able to show where your money's going, where it's coming out. Okay. What else was I going to say? My little tidbits over the years. We'll just hit on a few things, topics. Marketing. Marketing is very important. You're new. You need to develop a brand, and you should develop a logo and a tagline. So I have a little logo. She's Coffee Kim, I call her. And I have a tagline. Real estate is not about properties, it's about people. And then I have my brand. I have all that put together. Thursday at 10:30, we're having a Canva class. I think Sarah Marty's going to cover for us. And so we're going to talk about branding. We're going to talk about, being able to develop logos and et cetera. So, the thing is this, the cool thing about Keller Williams is this. Keller Williams is like the only brokerage that I know of that actually allows you to brand yourself separate and with the Keller Williams. Caldwell Banker doesn't. I don't think Century 21 does. I know HER doesn't really allow. You cannot develop yourself. The brand is Caldwell Banker. Okay. So Keller Williams allows you to do that. And so you're new. I suggest that you do that. And the thing is, because you develop it and you have it, and that's your brand, and then people recognize who you are from your brand. Karen, do you have anything that you want to add? Any kudos here, not kudos, but any, tidbits of wisdom?
Build your foundation early on first. As you're getting your business going, it's very hard to backpedal, which I've been doing. I hit the ground running on sales and did great, but I didn't have my foundation, my business set, so I've been catching up since then. So I would definitely suggest doing that early on.
Yeah, build your foundation. Your foundation is the strongest thing that you can do, and you don't have to backtrack. If I knew what I know now in business, I would not be here. I would have retired 10, 15 years ago and would have been very well off and would not have to. But when I got into business, I've been in business 31 years. When I got into business, it wasn't a business. You just sold real estate, not like it is today. All right, Mary, do you have anything you want to add? Any tidbits of knowledge, wisdom?
I do, actually. I love what Karen just said, build the foundation, and you tagged on that. That's huge. And haven't been a realtor that long. 2 years is not that long. You do absolutely have to have your foundation. You have to have that. And my next biggest tip would be, you've got to get out there and do it. You've got to do in order to learn a lot of times. My mentees have done some open houses with me. Each of them have done, I think all of them have done 2. Maybe one has only done 1. But when you see all those open houses on the Keller Williams Facebook page, sign up, go do them. Get some buyer leads. Get out there and I remember walking by Dayla's office one day, and I'd attended so many classes, and she said, "How's it going? What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, what do I need to do?" She goes, "Jump, just jump. You've got to take action, take action." So I guess that's my biggest, a lot of things in life, like when you ride a bike, you learn to ride a bike as you're on the bike. So I feel like you have to get out there, you have to do. You're not going to, anybody that says they're perfect at something, I just don't believe that's true. We all learn something every single day. So mine would be jump all feet in and go. Get busy, be active. That's my tip.
That is good advice. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here a little early. I appreciate you coming out very much. It was a wonderful time, nice to meet everybody. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to give you one of my business cards for those that I don't know. And also just want to remind you that if you have anybody that's thinking of buying or selling in Florida, I would be so honored to be a referral agent. And I will close this meeting out. Thanks, Mary.
Thanks for doing it, Kimberly.
Bye. Good luck. You doing Thursday?
Thursday. Got it.
Good luck.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Close this. No, I'll do that in a minute. Hang on. Stop share. There we go. Close. End.